fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
Conflict in storytelling doesn't necessarily mean an actual physical altercation between characters. It's more about the challenges your characters face that make your story interesting. Yes, they could be physical challenges that involve combat, like a fight to the death with a mutant aardvark using a soup ladle because it was the only available weapon, if you can even call it that. But the challenges your characters face could also be pretty much anything that poses a challenge. In compelling stories, you know, the types of stories most of us are trying to write, the protagonist wants something, they're trying to achieve something, and they meet obstacles along the way, and they must overcome those obstacles. Without the obstacles and moments of tension and uncertainty, the story simply wouldn't be interesting. It's like life. If it gets too easy and you have everything you could ever want or need, you'll probably just end up doing a lot of cocaine. In any good story, there'll be a series of problems and solutions. A problem arises, characters overcome it. Another problem arises, characters overcome it. The problem-solution cycle repeats until the end of the story, where the central conflict is resolved and everyone lives happily ever after. Or not. Your characters don't need to win every time and overcome every problem cleanly. In fact, they should sometimes lose so the reader knows that failure is an option and the consequences are real. Whether your characters are winning or losing, the challenges they face should propel the plot forward. They should serve a purpose. Some challenges will be seemingly small. Should the protagonist order whiskey or water? If they happen to be a recovering alcoholic, this is actually a pretty important decision. On the other hand, the challenges could be massive with world-ending implications. Conflict can either be internal or external. Internal conflict could come from an important decision a character has to make, or from fear or other emotions that are holding them back. External conflict could come from other characters or the environment or pretty much anything external that poses a challenge. If you go too long without presenting your characters with conflict, or they overcome challenges too easily, readers won't feel compelled to keep turning pages. Have you ever been reading a novel and told yourself just one more chapter before bed? But then you get to the end of that chapter and some wild situation manifests, so you have to read the next chapter, and then, of course, another wild situation develops. How will they ever get out of this one? So you read another chapter and so on until suddenly you find yourself on the last page, wondering where you are, who you are, and what day it is. By writing compelling conflict, you can have that same magical effect on your readers. So when it comes to conflict, sprinkle it in all throughout your story to create those page-turning moments. The intensity of the challenges will and should vary. Sometimes the protagonist must simply decide what to eat for breakfast. Other times they need to fight off a mutant aardvark with a cooking utensil.